welcome to I.P.A. This is Dave. Last night was a very interesting investigation at the Derby Gaol. We met up with Richard Felix, that used ghost tours and was the historian through the Most Haunted series, 1 to 8, I think. So the video you're about to see next is the interview of last night with Richard Felix. Hope you enjoy it. There's also going to be an upload of the Derby Gaol investigation. So look around for that. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click that notification bell. Hope you enjoy.
That was committed in Derbyshire. You ended up being brought here.
Yeah.
It was a place of terror, pain, anguish, torture, death, suicide, murder and execution. Literally 56 people executed, hanged. Some of them for the most trivial of crimes. A lot of people know that I'm the guy that's trying to prove what ghosts are. And my take on ghosts is that 60% of ghosts are a recording held in the fabric of the building, caused by the trauma of their death. The other 40% are an intelligence that have stayed behind. I think that in this building, most of what you encounter here is an intelligence. The spirit soul of a dead person that hasn't moved on. Because some of the crimes that these people were executed for were so trivial that I think they're still here, angry, waiting for justice to be done. Because I'm a believer that a lot of people stay around because they've got unfinished business.
Yeah.
And, you know, people were murdered and they never found the murderer, executed for a crime they didn't commit.
Yeah.
I think that although we've gone through Halloween now, the Pendle Witches and people like that, they're not, all they are angry old ladies that have stayed behind because they're so angry at what's happened to them, because they weren't witches at all.
No.
They were the healers of the village. It was like nipping down the boots, the chemist. And so they're angry, and so they stayed behind. And I think this place has got that. But it also has suicides, and people, you'd be murdered for the coat off your back in this place. Or you may well have been beaten to death or battered by the turnkeys, who were quite cruel. So it's a place of death and anguish and pain. So there's no wonder it's got so many ghosts in it, really. But when it opened in 1756, there was no segregation in the building either. So in a prison cell, there'd be old and young, male or female, tried or untried, sane or insane, in the same cells. I cannot even begin to imagine what must have gone on in these cells in this place.
It's a maniac and a little kid.
Can you imagine? Or just a bloke and a woman.
Yeah.
Or, oh no, I mean, it just doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
No.
So it's not a nice place. I mean, it really isn't. But one of the really interesting things is that, and I've said this to people before, one of the reasons there's so many ghosts is because there were 222 hanging offences in Great Britain from 1723. So you could be hanged for stealing a sheep, poaching, snaring rabbits, but you could also be hanged for murder. So they had to make something different. They had to create a punishment that was worse for a murderer. Well, how can you create anything worse than death?
How can you?
Other than marriage. And so the church, who I blame for so many ghosts, because people believed all the teachings of the church, and all religions rule by fear.
Yeah.
And so people were more frightened of whether they went up or down than dying. It was the afterlife that was so important. And basically, in 1752, they created what was called the Murder Act, which created a terror beyond death for a murderer. A terror beyond death. First part was that they weren't allowed to be buried, so no laid to rest. And then the second part was that they were publicly dissected in the Shire Hall in whatever town it was. And that meant that the body was cut up into pieces.
Like hung, drawn and quartered then?
Yeah, and that meant that on the Day of Judgment, because the body wasn't whole, there was no material resurrection. Because you do realise
so you can't go to heaven.
That apparently we all come back together again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. How many people out there have still got every bit that they were born with? Anybody? So are we all destined for hell?
Well, it looks like it.
Yeah. And so the murderer was cut to pieces, skinned, their skin made into to bind books, telling of their life and trial, their bones boiled in a big cauldron to make skeletons. So the body wasn't whole, so on the day of judgment, no material resurrection. Where are you going to go? Do not pass go. Go straight to hell and burn in hellfire for eternity.
And your skeleton ends up in a lab, hanging up.
Yeah, I've got one down there. Yeah, I've got a real one down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in other words, it's a case of, well, I know I'm not going to get in through the pearly gates, so Peter ain't going to let me in. I'm certainly not going down there.
So we'll just stick around.
I'll stop here, thank you. It's caused ghosts. And this is why most prisons, jail, but this place is unique, by the way, almost, because this is a Georgian jail. And it's not a prison. You weren't put in prison. You were only kept here in jail until the trial. So you could be in here 3 months. And then you could be waiting in jail to be transported or executed or whipped at the cart's tail till your back be bloody. So, but then, if you were found innocent, of course you were released. So it wasn't a prison. And then all of a sudden, when prison reform came in, they knocked down the old county jails and built new, purpose-built Victorian prisons with metal doors and slats for peering through and apertures to put the food through. Well, this isn't. This is an original Georgian jail with its original Georgian doors on it, full of graffiti from the prisoners and witch marks all over the doors. Apotropaic marks they're called, which means keep out. And they were frightened of ghosts. They were frightened of evil spirits coming into their cells, so they scratched witch marks on the doors to stop the ghosts coming in.
And did you say you've got marks on one of the
All
doors?
over the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Lovely. I remember the documentary you showed the marks as well, didn't you?
That's right, yeah, all over the doors are, well, let's have a look here, look. Can you see this all right? The most famous witch mark is a double V. VV means Virgin of Virgins.
Yeah.
Mary, Mother of Jesus. I couldn't understand why I'd got so many Williams in the building. But they're not, they're double V's. And there's another one there, double VJ. That's Mary and Jesus.
Oh,
And they're Marian marks, Mary, Mother of Jesus. And then the other ones you get are circles. And there's one there, done with a compass, by the way. How did they do that? Another one there, and they believed that evil spirits were stupid. And if an evil spirit was attracted into a circle, there were no corners for it to hide. And it would remain, it's just nonsense. It wasn't nonsense to them.
no.
So all over the doors say that if you want a really good double V to stop an evil spirit coming in,
Wow. That's great.
and there's more all over it. Double V there, double V there. It means that they were terrified, these people were. So this has been haunted ever since it was built in 1756. It's quite incredible place.
It is.
And I say, this is the corridor where I saw a ghost.
What was on here before this was built?
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all. It was open space called Nuns Green.
Oh, wow, okay.
Ecclesiastic, it belonged to a nunnery. But nothing on the side.
Are these the original doors?
Yes!
Yeah.
17.
Like every single one?
Yeah, everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I say that's the corridor where I saw a ghost at 3:20 Friday afternoon. That's now that's the corridor you went up to the gallows.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you say talking of dates, right? If all over the doors are dates as well as names. 1770, 1788.
Yeah.
Initials, and not only that, but also left handprints. These prisoners scratched their handprints on this door, and their left handprints. And the left hand is another witch mark, because the left hand's known as the sinister hand.
Yeah.
Because the Latin for left is sinistra. And that, so if you were accused of witchcraft, and you were keggy-handed, left-handed, that was enough. That would be enough. That was the devil's mark.
Right.
Silly really, but
So-
that's what they believe.
Yeah, so all over it, there's I think 7 left handprints on the door. Tell it, all over it. And the most famous thing here of all is that up there. William Buxton, Derbyshire's Dick Turpin,
Oh,
gentleman highwayman. This, guys, is his confession.
Wow.
That's his confession.
for robbing John Jenny.
And everybody else under the sun.
Wow.
You just would not believe it. The other side of Colbert, I overtook a post coach in which were 4 ladies and 2 gentlemen, one of whom insisted that he would not be robbed, and instantly jumping out of the carriage, catched my horse's bridle. I told him if he did not quit, I would shoot him dead. But he persisting, I knocked him down with a pistol. And just so it goes on.
That's amazing.
And his
isn't it?
ghost is still here. He still haunts this place, Mr.
Wow.
Buxton does. And he signed my door. He left his autograph for me before he was hanged.
Wasn't that generous?
Yeah, isn't it good? And then the cells down here, they're still preserved, you see. All the doors, original doors, bolts, original bolts. Let's say Georgian doors, you
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Didn't make doors like they used to do, did they?
No. Solid oak. This is haunted. This is, people do not like, people cannot stay in there.
No.
They don't like it. They get a horrible feeling of oppression. This door closes on its own. It's impossible.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be spending a bit of time in there then. Like.
And then here's the condemned cell. This is where you spent your last night on this earth before being hanged.
Wow.
It's freaky enough just
yeah.
having them on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. In 1817, 3 men were hanged and beheaded in front of this building for high treason. The last beheading in Great Britain with an axe in front of this building. Yeah, and then in here, the murder room is the dissection room, telling the story of the murder act. That's what happened to you. In fact, if you turn around and show that picture, that's what happened to you when you were publicly dissected.
Was you still alive?
No, no, but you were when you were hanged, drawn and quartered.
Yeah.
See the rope still around his neck?
Yeah.
Unbelievable, what we did to human beings.
It is.
What we did to each other.
Very cruel.
Eh? Quite something, isn't it?
It's really sad,
Yeah.
isn't it, as well?
And that's a real skeleton.
Do you know whose this it is?
No, unfortunately not a clue. And a real skull down there as well. But we have problems with this corner, which is nothing to do with the skeleton. This used to be a police museum. And it had been a police museum for 6 years. And there'd been the same dummy in the corner, a modern day police uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And one night, about 3:30 in the morning, caught luckily on the CCTV camera, this door locked. The police dummy rocks forward once and back, rocks forward again and back, and the 3rd time throws itself all the way across this room.
Wow.
Policeman helmet flies. It's, again, I say this, it's impossible. There was nobody in the building. It was 3:30 in the morning, it was pitch black, and the door was locked. And since then, I had a lady who wrote to me who left the building on a ghost hunt. She couldn't stay because she saw a grey hazy shape of a person in this corner. She thought it was to do with the skeleton. I don't think it is. I think it's whatever was there before, or whatever's in here, that threw the policeman's dummy across the room. And that was quite a feat, to throw a full mannequin dummy,
Yeah.
dressed as a policeman with its kit on, across the room. Quite something, that one. So to be honest with you guys, this is an extremely haunted building.
Good.
It is,
Extremely haunted
Haunted the
building.
better.
And the other thing I always say to people is nobody ever leaves Derby Gaol disappointed. I hope you guys won't tonight.
Hopefully not.
Already feels Sad.
It's
Right, yeah.
better with the lights off.
But that's why see, this is why we work as a duo, because we don't have to eliminate anybody else in the building.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. One of the things I do when I do an event here or anywhere else, I get everybody to wear a high-vis jacket. Because you see, ghosts don't wear high-vis jackets.
No, that's true. Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, thank you, Richard Felix, for that.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.